Teddy Feinberg, Brook Stockburger, Teddy and Brook Show from Presley Askew Field. That's the Aggie baseball field where they will play a weekend series against Texas Arlington. We'll get to that momentarily, but we are going to start with Austin No Doubt Trout. He lost this past weekend to Canelo Alvarez in a unanimous decision. Obviously, unification world championship fight. Brook, you saw the fight firsthand. I mean, you're our Larry Merchant.
You're Larry Merchant. That's a very good one. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of controversy about the scoring. People think Austin shouldn't have lost by as much as he did. Some people think he even got robbed and he won the fight. I watched all 12 rounds on Showtime. I think he lost, but I think it was closer than the judges gave it to him. You know, he fought fairly well, but he got knocked down earlier in the fight, and that made a 10-8 round. It was a little bit hard for him to overcome that at that point, so he's going to have to step back and punt now a little bit.
Well, to Austin's credit, I think he kind of manned up and said, "I didn't."
Yeah, he sure did.
But
he sure did.
We knew it was going to be an uphill battle from him when we figure 3 of the 4 officials, the ref, and two of the 3 judges were from the WBC, which of course was Canelo's championship belt. That's his representation. Canelo's a hell of a fighter too. I mean, he's a real thumper, and Austin had. What I'm trying to say is Austin had to go the distance, but he also had to win convincingly. I think once he got knocked down the 7th round, it was hard to overcome that.
Even though both gentlemen were title holders, you sort of have that thing that everybody says in boxing: if you're going to beat the champ, you have to beat him convincingly. Canelo came in as the favorite, and he's going to have to beat him convincingly, and it just didn't happen that way. Plus, the crowd was behind Canelo, champ form, and everything.
It was a definition of a home field advantage for Alvarez.
Yeah, sure was.
Aggie baseball, we will touch on them. They host Texas Arlington. Now, they've had your classic up and down, inconsistent year. I have a funny feeling about Aggie baseball, though, because in past years they've started the wax strong and faded late. I have a feeling, actually, they start a little weak. I think they're going to end the year strong. I really do. And they're going to have to, because the only way they're going to get the NCAA tournament is by winning the WAC tournament.
Yeah, and this is a big weekend for them this weekend for seeding and everything as they go into it. Right. Yeah, they need some momentum. They've done it in years past, going in and win the tournament when they weren't the #1 seed. So, they have that College World Series out there on the line. You're right. They're not going to get an at-large bid.
No.
So it's important here, these final games, to get good seeding and then take that momentum right into the postseason.
Well, and they're going to have to field the ball well. They've been fielding has not been their strong suit this year. It's gotten a little bit better. And they're going to have to hit with runners in scoring position. Ironically, their pitching's been pretty solid. So.
Yeah,
if you have a bunch of good arms, you can win.
That's true. That's a plus here at Presley Askew. When the wind's blowing out, as you know, where the ball can fall.
And it's like Coors Field. If you were 5.5 ERA, you're doing pretty good. Aggie softball, they're at home as well. They're in first place. They host Seattle Senior Weekend, 13-2 WAC record. They got a good program there.
Yeah, they sure did. They started out with a winning streak here in the WAC. Part of their schedule, 13-2. You're right. They're talking about building momentum. They're not having the up and down season right now. They're just winning and winning well.
They've been one of the teams this year that's really dominated a down WAC from start to finish. Probably even volleyball and basketball to win the WAC tournament. Aggie softball has been carrying it through, and I just effectively jinxed them. Let's get to the 3 burning questions. Brook, I believe you were going to start things off.
Yeah, the NFL draft is this weekend. Always a lot of fun. I love watching the draft and everything. Do any Aggie football players have a chance of getting drafted or at least signed to a free agent contract as NFL?
Well, last year I said Jonte Green had a shot, and some Aggie fans had a hard time believing it, but he was in fact drafted in the 6th round by the Detroit Lions. I can understand why people had a hard time believing it, because he was an inconsistent Aggie, but he was drafted. So cornerbacks, Wayne Walker recruited good cornerbacks. He coached cornerbacks well. He obviously isn't here this year, but he was here last year. So the cornerback to watch out for this year is Jeremy Harris, about 6'2", can run very well, has very long arms, he's rangy. He could get drafted. I got a text message today from someone who's in the know who said it's about a 50-50 chance. I do think he will get signed, so that's a player to watch out for.
Very good.
We touched on Austin Trout. I'm going to bring back the burning question to you. What's his future?
Well, he's going to have to step back and lick his wounds a little bit. But Austin's still, he's 27. That's not too old yet. And, not like Canelo, who was 22, has already fought like 10 million fights already. Austin still has his head about him. He still has his athleticism. He's got a good coach in Louis Burke and a good team. He'll step back. He'll have to fight some more fights and build back up. But I see him having another title shot.
I do want to add this, too, about Austin. When we consider he's from Cruces and the good Aggie basketball, for instance, they make the NCAA tournament. It's a good year. He's had a fantastic career. So whatever happens from here on out, tip your hat to him.
True
Brooke, I believe you're going to have one more for me. I can't wait to swing for the fence.
Big high school weekend. Cruces and Mayfield, obviously, any sport they play, it could be the debate teams versus each other, and it's going to be a big deal. But now we have high school baseball this weekend.
Well, and high school baseball's been very unpredictable now. I did not think Mayfield was really going to contend this year, but what do I know? They stand at 5-2. They might be 6-2 at this point in district. Cruz is 6-0. They meet in a Saturday doubleheader. I'm going to predict the split. Is that just sitting in the middle of the fence or what? I'm going to do it. Didn't think Cruz should be undefeated at this point. Didn't think Mayfield would be 5-2. But both teams are really doing well. Folks, thanks for checking. That game's at 11 a.m., by the way. The doubleheader starts then. Thanks for checking us out, as always, at LLC Sun-News, at B Stockburger, at T Feinberg on Twitter, Sun News Sports Facebook, all day, every day. Have a great day.
Does Teddy bounce the first pitch Friday at the NMSU UTA game?
Well, I'm going to take the answer, at least initially, and say absolutely not. Brook?
I saw him out there practicing a little bit. He looked pretty good from the mound, actually. He's getting the ball across the plate, maybe a little high, sometimes a little outside, but he'll do it.
Well, I mean,
he won't bounce it.
You know, Tanner Rust is the catcher. I'm going to give him a little circle change.